I literally have no fucking words. I'm ready to go. Okay, welcome back, team. Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway today with Andrea back from Arizona, and Christian Olson. Super excited to be here.
What's up, guys?
Welcome
to Baltimorons.
Welcome to Baltimorons. I feel like a real Baltimorean today. I feel like I have the Hun accent. I don't know why, I just do. Oh, anyway, I was on the phone and I was walking back here and I almost could see Liv go like, oh God, here we go. I forgot about the voice. I feel like the guy from 101 Dalmatians.
And there you are drinking. Yeah, I was literally about to say, and there you are drinking coffee.
I don't have anybody to take care of me when I'm here.
Take care of yourself.
I can't. I have water.
Yeah, listen to Christian. He knows about self-help.
Self-help, Christian. What are we doing to invest in real estate in 2023?
I'm saving some fucking money.
Bro, can you help me understand where
your drive comes from?
No.
Where it just fucking sprung out of nowhere.
I'm with it.
My drive? I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to make the most of every opportunity that I have. I don't know. I feel like I say this shit all the time. I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes.
What do you feel like the biggest change from who you were in, let's say, 2022, at the start of 2022, compared to where you are now in 2023?
A lot of things. I think I have...
There's just one deep.
No, I mean, there's a lot. I have a direction now, I feel like, and a lot more meaning in my life for like what I want to do, why I want to do it. And like, I was always the person like hear some like cringy fucking motivational thing. It's like, get that shit out of my face. Like if someone were to tell me, stay hungry, stay humble. Yeah, no, I would laugh. Be like, no. If someone told me to make a vision board.
That's why it's on the wall, not coming out of your mouth.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get it. I'm not.
But like, I never took that shit kind of seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like in every environment, it's like thrown on you.
What do you mean?
Like if you're at the gym, they put it up on the wall. If you go to work, like, or if you go to a school.
That's on my gym wall. I don't know if I'm...
Stay hungry.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go there.
Well, I'm saying like there's something in every environment and they build their environment around what they see as their opportunity, but they don't focus on helping you buy in, understand it.
Well, also like now I see a much bigger picture. Getting into real estate, there's a lot of opportunity. Like I said, just trying to make the most of that. And like whether it's going to pay off in 3 months or a year or 30 years, just sticking to that end goal. And
okay, so let's talk about your 30-year thing. What happened when you talked to Ryan? I'm curious.
So where I'm at, like if you have a real estate job, it's probably the hardest job to have and try and buy a house. Like you're up against time, like the money you make, the IRS, all that shit. So I talked to Ryan about trying to buy a property, and basically the money that I made last year, not 2022, but 2021. It's my first year real estate, had like 4 or 5 deals, wasn't a whole lot. And then you can't really count all that towards like your income, or you can, but it's not a lot. Like,
but very just like amounts. Every other business owner, you write off all your expenses.
Yeah, but that's like where I'm at. It's like for this past year. Yeah, for 2022 though, I'm trying to find this middle ground of like how much should I write off or how much should I keep. And I don't want to write off too much because then that's going to affect what I can actually afford the next year. Yeah. When I go to get a loan, right?
And I feel like that's a big thing that people don't realize when trying to qualify. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll just write off everything. But it does, you know, take its own effect.
I think until you're making a substantial amount of money, let's say 6 figures, writing off everything probably isn't the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial advisor, so don't listen to that. Like, do what you want. But chatting with Ryan, we were trying to see like, okay, how much am I going to make in 2022? How much will I make in 2023? And then combining those two kind of like averages, what can I get pre-approved for? What do I need to make in 2023 to get that amount as well?
Well, it's something that people don't think about. Like we were talking about investment properties today. And when you own an investment property, everything that you bring in, cash flow, is taxable. But if you paint the house, it's a tax deduction. If you replace a light switch, it's a tax deduction. If you put out mailers to fill your property while it's vacant. That's tax deduction. So all of a sudden you take all this profitability and you deduct it, which then makes your taxable income very, very low, which is like the goal, right? Because you want to have profitable property, but you also want to use that money to like leverage yourself. So then that's what you're doing. You're taking in your 4 or 5 sales, you're deducting your expenses, which is like gas, car, clothing, computers, anything that you're buying to like sell real estate, and you're deducting it all, which in theory is a good thing, but then in practice is a bad thing to get qualified for a mortgage. So,
but I think once you get over that hurdle, kind of chatting with Ryan, it seems like things should be a little bit easier. Like you get your first house. My plan was to live in it for a year and then rent it out, hopefully buy another house after that and kind of keep it going for 4 years, but more realistically, probably like 5 with everything going on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my goal. So like saving money, like paying my taxes, writing off the right amount, like budgeting for this. Like I've spent a ridiculous amount of money on concerts. So like now I'm like, I don't need to spend any more money, or at least that much anytime soon. So like 2023, just kind of work my ass off, save money. Once I do those taxes and this year's over, hopefully early 2024, I can buy a house.
So earlier today, I was talking about, getting qualified for an investment property. And I said the most important thing is like painting a picture of what your ideal investment home looks like. Yeah. What you just described could be considered house hacking, right? People talk about this all the time.
Sure.
It's one of the terms that I hate about real estate because people talk about this shit like, oh, I'm going to house hack. Like, so you're going to buy an investment property, rent it out, and then buy another one with the proceeds, right? And they're like, yeah, house hacking. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you're going to have a roommate move in to give you some cash flow so you can lower your expenses? Yeah, house hacking. Like, I want to murder you, right? Like, I just want to murder people. Yeah. What is your goal? What is your long-term goal? Because you can't do that forever.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So, like, paint a picture of what your future investment portfolio looks like and start to build towards that.
Yeah.
My thing, just buy the shittiest thing you can get your hands on.
Yeah. And that's kind of like where I'm, like, there's a fork in the road. Like, do I buy the shittiest thing and I can renovate it, have the value go up over a couple of years, and, like, I probably could be comfortable living in it for the first year. Or do I buy something that I know I'll like, I know will still grow in value, but it'll probably be a little bit more expensive. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Do you feel like there's a benefit of getting your accountant to speak with Ryan and kind of work together to see what needs to...
So I'm going to be kind of like the middleman. Is that...
It's just really funny that it's your sound, so I like to use it.
We need to take the controllers away from Michael.
Right.
I have a full-time job.
Controlling the control board.
Ryan was like, once you file your 2022 taxes, actually before you file them, like talk with your accountant, your tax guy, see what your like write-off amount is or what you're going to be claiming, and then I'll chat with Ryan before we actually file, so we can say like, hey, is this average with the number that we're going to use for 2022 gonna help me or like negatively impact me in 2020?
Well, you can always go back and edit your tax return.
Yeah, but I'd rather not have to go back and do that shit.
I mean, it's just a matter of, to me, it's really, really hard to get started as a sole proprietor, like a self-employed income earner.
Yeah.
Unless you can get someone to leverage you, or you can do like a 0% down, But you have to have great opportunity.
But also kind of like, not to get into the conversation we had yesterday, but talking about a client that wants to sell their home, should they do it in like 4 to 6 weeks or wait a couple months, when other things may line up? And it's like, we're only 3, 4, 5 weeks away. Let's just wait for that instead of playing that like long-term game.
It's like what lines up with your goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, why don't you buy property?
Why don't I buy property?
Yeah.
I don't have the income to qualify for it.
You could do like a 0% down non-QM.
Well, so I kind of forgot where I was going with the last statement, but now I picked back up.
Okay. All right, pick back up. Go ahead, Christian.
So in terms of me buying a house, like waiting for 2024, we talked about having you there to like support me and leverage that so I can get into the first property and kind of kickstart everything. But if it's only a year difference, like is that time like super important? Is that a big enough like time difference where like I'm pressed to buy a house? No. Like I could save some more money. I could be in probably a better position. I would make the argument
that you could buy 2 houses. That's my argument. My thing is it's a speed to lead game. It's how quickly can you acquire property. And for me, for my 10 years of deficiency, I kick myself every day. Like if I had bought a property 10 years earlier, 7 years earlier, 5 years earlier, 2 years earlier, how much farther along I'd be.
Yeah.
It's just like, to me, it's like buy as quickly and as often as you can buy.
Well, I feel like I definitely agree with you, right? Whether it's in like certain investments or buying a house or whatever. But I do think there's like a time and a place for some people. And right now, like, should I rush into everything? Like my summer is going to be like packed, like super busy. I'm going to be spending more money like on concert shit. And then early 2024, I think I'd be in a better position to focus on that.
Bang.
Like I can spend this year preparing for it.
Crush.
But here's the thing: when I was in the room like role playing, I heard you talking about people just talking about it instead of actually fucking doing something.
Did I do that? I swear to God, I want a camera from right here going over there. Like it's just the funniest view. Anyway, what?
But like,
Anyway,
people always talk about what they want to do instead of actually going to do it or like taking the steps to get to that end goal, right?
Right.
And so like that's what I want to focus on is actually doing the steps. Like people that don't have the right credit, like they're not in credit repair and not working to get it better. They don't even have a credit card or like what have you. They're not taking the steps and they're just talking about, oh, I want to do this. I want to buy a house. I want to do all these other
house
things.
hacking. Yes.
Right. And it's like,
Love
well,
it.
what are you doing to do like to reach that goal?
Right.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing. You're just fucking talking about it. It's annoying.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people that want to like play in the sexiness of it all, right? Like you just went to Arizona.
Yes, sir.
Super fun, super sexy.
It's great.
A lot of like you guys went snowboarding, you guys did, in-town stuff. A lot of fun. Super sexy. Everybody wants
You
that.
calling it sexy?
Because that's what it is. It's like it's sexy. It's like the
It's
allure.
appealing.
It's appealing.
Yes.
Thanks, Mom. But like the allure of doing it is why I want it, not the actual outcome. Right? Like I want to invest in real estate because, I want to invest in real estate. I want a house hack. I want to make money. I want to have a portfolio, right? Like they don't want to actually buy a house.
Right.
Because like the actual act of doing it is not
As rewarding as talking about it.
alluring. Right? Appealing.
Alluring sounds sexier though.
I like sexy. That's just my thing. So like to me, I think that people spend their whole life trying to pitch a vibe and they don't actually spend any time creating it.
Yeah. I would agree.
Right? So like to me, that's where I come from when people are talking about house hacking or like waiting time or avoiding buying that first property. It's like, come on, you got to get started. Like as soon as you wait, you're hurting yourself more. I have a client who wants to buy property and he's like, I'm saving $50,000. How long is it going to take you to save $50,000, Josh? Well, it's going to take us 7 years and we're going to do this and this and this over the next 7 years. And by the way, I bought an RV. What do you mean? That truck in the driveway, it's an RV. I got it for a deal. Well, where did that money come from? Did it come from your $50,000 investment fund? Oh, no, you didn't? Well, why aren't you investing more money into your investment fund to make it happen more quickly? Like 7 years is a long time.
The amount of people that get into real estate or like want to buy a house and then they go out buy a car or like just spend a ridiculous amount of money. Like I get shit happens, right?
Sounds like you.
Wow. I'm not ready to buy it, but there's people who are like trying to actively look or they have all these like giant goals that are much closer than mine, like in timeline wise. They're out there spending so much money and like buying new cars, racking up their credit card. And again, like I said, I understand if shit happens, but if you have these goals, like you should be doing everything you can.
Well, doesn't it all come back to like budgeting?
Yeah.
Doesn't it all come back to saying like, hey, we talked about this last week, right? I'm going to eat ramen. I'm going to starve myself a bit. I'm going to pay off my credit cards. I'm going to do what I need to do to buy a house.
Pay off your credit cards, lose some weight, then you'll get a house.
Yeah, right.
It sounds like a great plan to me.
I'm about to buy myself a case of ramen.
Love ramen.
But like, there are just certain things that people put their money into, and then they want to talk about putting their money into other things without any action. And that, I think, is my focal point here. Like, I don't have any problem. You want to go to the Grateful Dead shows? Be my guest. You lose a day of work trying to get the tickets, and then you lose 5 days of work spending the money, and then you lose another 5 days of work
it's
going.
It's the last tour.
But that's the thing. Like, that's your thing.
That's my thing, yeah.
Right? And then there are people that buy Ravens tickets and people that buy Orioles tickets and people that buy, a new car, a new whatever. And, there's all kinds of good things to be said for that. but at what expense?
Right.
And I think that's the real consideration. Like, at what expense? I have people that are texting me like, oh, I've made different arrangements for my house search. Well, did you buy one? Well, no, not yet. Okay, so you just want me to stop texting you? Right? Like, you could just say stop texting me. Like, I'd be fine with that. But like, I've made different arrangements for my house search when I sent out my messages about the home buyer event the other day. Mm-hmm. It's like, woman, I've been talking to you for over a year and you haven't done anything. So don't tell me I've made different arrangements. That's what we're talking about. Like the sexiness of it. But they don't actually want to do the work.
BFFR. Be fucking for real.
BFFR, Christian.
Yeah, I feel like these people kind of, not to throw that lady under the bus or whoever it may be, but are like living this like false like
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the desire to desire, you know.
The desire to desire.
Like it's...
She yells at me, but the desire to desire is okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just think all you need to do to start your investment portfolio is start dreaming.
I think you just need to fucking do it. That's
right.
All, like, that's all you do.
Just make it out.
Like, yeah, when Heather had first joined the team, she was like, Christian, what do I do? Like, making these videos or... Like, what do I do? It's like... The wrong answer is not do anything.
Yeah.
Just do something, right?
Something. Pick something.
Like just fucking do it and roll with it, right?
Well, that's what we talked about this morning.
Yeah.
Your fear of other people's reaction is stopping you from doing the action, which doesn't even make sense, right?
And going back to something me and Liv talked about like so long ago, you want to rock like flying through fucking space. You're gonna die, so just do it. You know.
I think about.
Might as well have a good time.
I think about we have a client who bought an investment property from us, and it wasn't the best deal. It wasn't the sexiest opportunity. It wasn't really great cash flow or anything like that. But it was a great opportunity for her to accomplish her goal. So cash flow was really low. Property management was going to take basically most of her cash flow. The tenant quality was going to be, let's say, a 7 out of 10. As good as we probably can get, but not amazing. And then the property itself is going to grow in appreciation. And I think about that investment and I think every investor I've ever talked to in my entire life would hate it.
Yeah.
And that woman paid $600. And since then, every month, before the first of the month, the tenant pays the full rent value every single time. She's asked questions, but she's never called to complain. She's never had any issues. It's like, what if that property fit her portfolio? And that's why she bought it. But if you don't know what your portfolio looks like and all you want is the best quality tenant in the best neighborhood at the highest price with the lowest acquisition cost with the greatest
best deals.
Yeah, like you're never going to find that.
And I think a lot of people, like they don't even know where to start. Like if you're trying to flip, I think that's much more of a quicker turnaround. But people are like, I want this rental portfolio and they expect to be a millionaire overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
like
what is the thing that you run out of?
That I run out of?
Correct. If you're going to start a investment portfolio, what is the thing that you run out of?
I don't know.
You don't run out of inventory, right? You don't run out of steam. You don't run out of real estate agents. You don't run out of tenants. You don't run out of, properties.
Money?
Capital.
I was going to say that, but I was like...
I thought it would be a stupid answer, but I just...
No. Money is the best answer, right? So people come to us and they're like, oh, I want to buy property. Oh, are you looking to flip? Are you looking to, rent? And they'll say things like, oh, I want to flip one and buy some and I want to rent and hold. I'm like, well, how much do you have that you're working with? And they'll say, well...
10,000.
Yeah, right. And I say, well, you have to flip. And they say, why? I say, look, if you want to buy more than one property... Go back to my guy, Josh. Josh is trying to save $50,000. It's going to take him 7 years. If it's going to take another 7 years to save another $50,000, he's only going to buy 2 properties in 15 years.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. If it's in his portfolio, more power to him. But the thing is, if he took that $50,000 and flipped one property, let's say it was successful, he might turn it into 70, 100, 150. It could be 200. But he's going to make that capital grow. Then he's going to take some of that capital, invest it into a long-term investment, and then he's going to do the same thing all over again. It's kind of like think about investing in cryptocurrency. It's a quick growth, but it's also a quick crash.
Yeah.
That's like flipping, right?
Yeah.
And then investing in like the JP Morgan XYZ. I'm not a day trader person, so pay somebody to do that. But still, like you invest in your long-term stocks, you're not looking at growing rapidly, but you're looking at over the years growing your $30,000 investment into a $70,000 investment. That's what rental is.
I also think being a real estate agent, like buying your first house might be a little bit more difficult to get approved. You have, might have to wait, kind of like in my situation, wait another year to really be in a good position. But we have the opportunity, I think, to make more money to, like, I could be here till 9 p.m. at night, and hopefully that's going to pay off. It's where people might not have that same opportunity. It's kind of like going back to a conversation yesterday about me having the Tesla. It's like this job gives us that opportunity to get these certain things or live the kind of life that we want. And, you know, meanwhile, at times it might fucking suck.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with a blessing at the end of the day and a lot of opportunity.
Even just owning an investment property is a blessing in the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Hear me out. This guy in Chicagoland, which I never knew that term before James.
Chicagoland?
Kudos to James. Yeah. Do you remember James? He was a selfie king. Kudos to James. Love this dude. It's like a thing. They call it Chicagoland. I don't get
Where?
it. It's like the greater Chicago area.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah, like the DMV or like the Baltimore Metro, Chicagoland. But it's like a thing. It's like not a... He's not Chicago. The only person. Everybody knows it. Okay. Anyway, so James said this thing that rental properties are the most liquid investment that you can have. Now, whether you agree or disagree, that's not the argument. But the point is that if you own one investment property and your kids want to go to Disney and you put down a deposit, how much does it cost to go to Disney for a family of four?
I don't know.
Probably a couple grand.
$6,000, a couple grand. Let's go with 6. I like that number, Liv.
I would
so you
say
put down your deposit, you put out like $3,000 or something like that. The trip is coming up in 2 or 3 months. You know you got to put out another $3,000. You've got $6,000 in savings, right? You're cool. But then you have something blow up at your house. You need a new roof. You need a new HVAC system. Something happens, right? You end up needing that money. Well, you own this investment property, which is growing in equity. Sell it in order to afford the things that you need while you're providing your family the life that you've worked hard for. It's almost like what you said, real estate agents have the opportunity to stay late, sell another house, create more income for themselves. So do people that own investment properties because they can liquidate that investment and get their cash, where otherwise your cash is either sitting in a CD, an investment fund, or maybe you spend it because you don't have good money management. And all of a sudden you now have to choose Disney or HVAC unit. And I think that, I don't know this, I'm making this statistic up, but I think that the greater majority of families in America have to make that decision often and routinely. And that's upsetting.
Yeah.
So like whether it's a new car or getting the air conditioning fixed, which is a $1,500 investment, some people would choose to get the air conditioning fixed because they can't afford to consider a new car. It's not an option for them. And that's what real estate investment does to me, in my opinion.
Long story short, Disney, lower your prices.
Long story short. Yes. But I think the key is to understand that like whatever your investment portfolio looks like to you, whether it's waiting a year to start or whether it's starting right now, you have to create a picture of like, what does this look like? You could get a non-QM loan.
Yeah.
It's just not an ideal investment property.
Yeah.
But maybe it gets your wheels turning because you're not 12 months out like Christian is. Maybe the next person that's listening to this podcast is like, hey, I'm ready to buy a house, but do I buy for me or do I buy for my investment portfolio? Do I even understand what my investment portfolio looks like?
Right.
And then you have people that like, hey, I bought this house because it was a good investment, Justin and Lauren. And at the time that he bought it, I thought, you're crazy for the price you're paying.
The one they currently, like they just moved
No,
into?
the one they originally bought.
Oh, okay.
I literally thought he was crazy for paying the price that he paid, but he was like, it's a good investment. This is what I want to do. I don't want to waste time. I'm moving on, blah, 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 right? Years later, an opportunity comes up. And what does he do? He liquidates his investment in his first property to buy a property that Justin has zero business living in. And if you're watching, you know it as well as I do. He said it to me. He said it to me like point blank. I have no reason to live in this house. And I agree. But it's the opportunity that was created by buying the first one.
Yeah.
And that's where like, I thought he was crazy, but he just gunned it and took advantage of it. And it was the investment for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think whether your investment portfolio looks like your primary residence or you have a secondary or a third, tertiary, right? It's your investment portfolio. So that's why I say start by dreaming, figure out what it looks like, and then go for that.
I mean, sit down and define it with someone.
Right. That's what I mean.
So,
yeah. And read our blog because it says that right there. Section number 3. Even if you're not ready to buy tomorrow, you can still start research the market by finding the best realtor to suit your needs. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's very well written, Liv. I don't mean to downplay
I think
it.
this is one of
See,
my...
another look. Jesus Christ, I can't even do it.
This is one
Liv,
of my...
this is for you. Just vibes. Positive vibes.
Could you hear that?
Yes, she can hear
She
it.
has headphones on.
Well, I mean, all right. True.
Anyway, so it's 2023. How many houses are you going to buy for your investment portfolio in the next 12 months?
Hopefully one.
One.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll say 1, 2.
That's a shitty answer.
Why not?
She said one. You're like, anyway.
I feel like I have more of a game plan than either of you sitting at this table.
I feel like she's more committed.
Probably not.
Shade jar.
Shade jar. I would like to say 2, and I don't have a game plan for that, but I would like to add 2 more to my portfolio. That's my goal. And it'll all be non-QM, which is annoying.
Can I send you some properties and us talk
Sure.
about it?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Allison does that to me all the time.
I know, I'm trying to take her spot.
Yeah, I mean, she does a really good job. I'm not going to lie. Kudos to Allison. I wish you'd be on the podcast from time to time. Here you go, Allison. Hands for you. Anyway, all right. Well, you guys have anything to add?
No, this was fun. I like this one.
I like this one.
Yeah,
Great.
It's cool.
Chicky chicky parm
2 thumbs
parm.
up.
2 thumbs up. All right, guys, we'll see you. We'll catch up with you guys real soon. If you need to hit me, you can reach me at frankoliverco.com or at michaelfrank___ on Instagram, at frankoliverco on TikTok, and all the other places. See you guys soon.
What the fuck about us?
Yo, you're up.
Christian and the Deadhead on
There you go.
Instagram. And yeah, we'll just keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Andrea_Soto. Also by text 443-668-7776. And on our upcoming new podcast, Realtor Life with Heather.
Yikes.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, I was hanging out with Haley earlier.
Oh my God. Love you guys. Catch you soon.
See ya.
Bye.